How's it going, everyone? In this video I am going to show you 12 useful Google Sheets tips to help you save time and improve your productivity. This video is about time saving, so I won't take more of your time. Let's just get started. Tip 1. Capitalize names properly. If you have a list of names and there are a mix of upper and lowercase, you can use the formula proper to properly capitalize them. Type equals proper, open bracket, then select the cell, and then closing bracket, and then enter. You can then apply this formula all the way down the column with Google suggested autofill. So there you go. As you can see, their names are now capitalized. However, it seems like those extra spaces doesn't look good. So, tip number 2 is to remove extra spaces. You can do this with a trim formula. Type in equals trim, and in between brackets you enter cell name. In this case, we'll write B2, then press Tab or Enter to accept. Then you will have a clean list of names. You can just click this bottom right box of this cell and drag down. It will make up the whole list for you. Tip 3. Combine formula. Now you know how to use trim and proper. You can save even more time by doing both of these functions in one formula. This is called a nested function. So for this example, I will wrap a trim function around a proper function. I am basically putting one formula inside another and doing them at the same time. Google will work inside out and do the innermost function first. So in this case, it will correctly capitalize E2 with the proper function. So we've got proper E2, and once that's done it will trim the whole lot, and then it will give the result. Tip 4. Split first name and last name. Now you have the names properly formatted. You may want to split the first name and last name. So click on a new cell and then type in equals split. Now between the brackets we need to enter the cell and the separator, which is normally a space. You can't enter a space on its own as this won't be recognized. You need to enter it between two speech marks, then close it with a bracket and hit enter. Now the first name and last name are in two separate columns. You can then copy down the formula by double-clicking the square in the corner of the cell. Tip 5. Join two cells together using the ampersand. So if I wanted to rejoin these, what I'll do is type equals, and then the first cell containing the first name, then the ampersand symbol. Then I'll enter a space within speech marks, then another ampersand to add the last name. Then press enter and autofill the rest. This will work for any text to string. This will work for any text to the speech marks. So for example, you can add a dash instead of a space. Tip number 6. Freeze top row if you have a table with lots of rows. It can be annoying when you scroll down and can't see the column header. So what you can do is lock the top row. In Excel, this is called freeze panes. If you hover over this horizontal bar and drag it underneath the row you want locked, this will now stay in place. If I scroll down, you can see all the column headers. You can do the same thing for the columns except you use the vertical gray bar here. Make sure the hand appears, drag it across, and now the dates are locked when I scroll left and right. Tip number 7. Resize columns quickly if you have a column that is too small to see the full contents. You can hover over the right-hand side of the column and double-click it. Make sure these arrows appear and then double-click, and it will resize automatically to fit the width of the contents. Now I can do the same thing here, and I am resizing the columns. If you have rows that are all different sizes, you can do the same thing with the rows. So I'll just click on this and double-click it, and it will resize. Now you don't want to be doing that one by one. If you have multiple rows and columns, what you can do is click on this box here, and this will highlight everything. Then anywhere between two columns double-click it, and it will resize everything. The same thing for the rows. Double-click it, and it will do all the rows. Now you have clean, organized data. Tip number 8. Add columns quickly. Simply right-click a column or a cell, and click Insert one column to the left or right. Because I've clicked on a cell, it just says Insert one column. Can do the same thing for rows if you right-click, insert one row above. Now if you want to add multiple columns, highlight the amount of columns you want, then right-click, and it will say insert 3 columns to the left or 3 columns to the right. Now you can add multiple columns. Tip number 9. Jump around the list quickly. You can easily jump around and navigate a list by using the Control and arrow keys on your keyboard. If you're using a Mac, it would be Command and arrow keys. So for example, I want to move to the bottom of this list. I'll press and hold Control and click down. If I want to move to the right-hand side, I'll press and hold Control or Command and click right. Same for going up, you can just navigate quickly and easily using the Command and arrow keys. Now tip number 10. If you want to highlight cells quickly, what you can do is press Control and Shift and then down, and this highlights the selected section. You can do the same thing if you just click on that cell. If you press Control and Shift and a right arrow, it highlights that row. You can then press down, and this will highlight the entire thing. This just makes it super easy to make selections in and around your list. Tip number 11. Flip rows and columns. Say you don't want the headers going across the top and you want them going down the side. Instead, you can convert it to columns using Paste Transpose. Simply highlight the whole table. So what I'll do is I'll click on this and highlight the whole table using Control-Shift down and across to get everything. I'll Control-C that, and then I'll paste that Control-V into a new sheet. Now instead of doing a regular paste like I did here to flip the rows and columns, I will right-click, Paste Special, and click Transposed. Now the table is flipped. Tip number 12. Quickly see a sum or count from a set of numbers. So if you have a set of numbers like this, I have a SKU in this column, I can click on the top using the technique I just showed you. I'll press Control or Command Shift and then a down arrow, and this highlights all the numbers in that column. Then if I look to the bottom right-hand side, I can see a count, and it shows me 66. So this is the way you can check out any numbers data. Averages, sum, minimum, and max. It could be very useful on checking out the sum of all those revenue figures, and it's a super quick way to reference numbers in column. Alright guys, so that's it for the video. Hope you got some value out of this video. If you do, please make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you all for watching. Peace.